There's a real recording. Okay. Uh, we're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen today. Two grown men
Yeah,
complaining about the word curse.
they use an exponential amount of the word curse, and as we get into this next arc, I don't think they really do any better.
For me, it's getting to the point when they bring up whenever they bring up anti-domain expansion techniques, I'm like, oh god, which one's which, and who knows which? Because some of them are inherited by families. Anyways, that's not the issue here. There is no issue here actually. This was a good stretch of chapters. We're going to talk about 12 chapters more or less. That way,
Yeah.
Tyler doesn't have to wait on me to catch up to him because he like devours the chapters, and I'm like, okay, I'll read like two or three a night and take some notes. Meanwhile,
Just because I sit down and read an entire volume in one sitting doesn't mean I'm not enjoying myself.
oh, I never. You're devouring a juicy meal.
I
Uh,
mean, that's not like I my first actual like manga I was reading on my own was Demon Slayer, and like I bought those volume by volume and just like sat down, read a quick two or three volumes, went about my day.
Now, Demon Slayer has a lot less text than Jujutsu. Jujutsu approaches. I mean, look, we're starting at 137, right? And you
Yeah,
flip over
this,
two
this is
pages, and you
this is
have
a
the most
Tagashi.
text.
This is Tagashi's work right here. I see
Yeah,
they brought him in to do the intro.
I can't believe this is how Tagashi trained for his return to Hunter x Hunter in the upcoming year. But yeah, it is. Woo, but I don't mind it. It's good world building, and it also like just seeing it all on the page like this is telling of how fucked up the world is ever since Geto did the thing that he did that we were confused about.
Now it's not Ghetto, it's the other guy's
Jesus.
name.
So, Kamo, but then I don't know why, and maybe this confused you too, Tyler. Later on, this stretch of chapters, they start calling him another name,
Yes,
like a
yes they do.
third name, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
He's the dude playing a dude disguised as another
So
dude.
Kamo is also called Kenjaku, and I was like, why? I thought it was like Noshimitsu Kamo.
I think we know him as that last name now, and we'll just I'm gonna just kind of not even try to butcher the
I'm
names.
just trying to keep up. Instead of y'all making fun of us for being dumb and not knowing the word cursed, y'all should explain these things that we
I
are
mean,
confused
no, I'm
about.
stupid. I don't understand basic fractions because I don't have to think about algebra every other day. So
Well, that's
um,
unfortunate. It's a bad series for you,
okay,
but
so we open up on this little kid just like eating food off the ground in this market shop. And I
yeah.
really like the like I really am liking just like the desolate landscape, this black void that we get into the city. We show the sky. There's not even stars in the sky. It's just a
Yeah.
black sky. And this
And
kid eating food on the ground.
I wonder if the sky is abnormally dark or if this is just how Gage is drawing it. But either way, I'm surprised that the kid thinks that this obviously horrifying thing is a human who needs help. Like, because
I
I don't know, this kid does not
yeah,
have survival instincts.
yeah, it's weird. Like this confused me a lot. I'm like, "Oh, this kid is eating food off the ground and like is the kid a cursed spirit too? Because he's acting as dumb as that cursed spirit
That's
is.
what I
To be
thought as
honest.
well.
But I like this thing. It's an anglerfish. As soon
Yeah.
as we get into it, and
And
then
the
boom!
return of Utah from chapter 0. Good thing we read those chapters.
Oh
Comes back.
yeah, yeah. I was like, I actually had to like, I reread these two chapters, because I read these as a part of like my bulk reading of Shibuya the first time. So I'm glad that I remembered who this guy was on a reread.
Now,
The angler.
the confusing part about and this will come up a little bit more later. I thought that Rika, his like spirit girlfriend monster, left the actual afterlife. So why is there still a Rika here who is killing this anglerfish and later is going to completely subdue Itadori?
I think he learned how to control it because like
Maybe
he learned that he was the curse.
I was the curse all along. That could be
Yeah,
it.
yeah, like you can use reverse curse spirit energy to reverse curses from being bad curses to good curses if you just know that you're the curse.
You need to shut the curse up right now. Um, Another thing, so this kind of catches us up to the state of the world once Kamo has started this kind of like pre-stage to the killing game that's about to happen, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Not there yet.
Inumaki, the sushi mouth guy, has completely lost his arms, and like,
yeah,
this is upsetting because he's one of my favorite side characters, and I'm begging to like learn more about him and see him do more.
Apparently, he got caught up in that domain expansion blast.
Maybe we probably see it happen explicitly, but we just don't remember it.
We talked about it actually.
No, if he was caught up in the Sukuna domain expansion, he'd be dead.
Like in the first bulk of Shibuya arc, we probably know that his arm got cut off.
Yeah, but that's in the past, and we're in the present now.
But now,
the principal and Itadori are both in the chopping block because. So I think the principal's on the chopping block because Gojo and him made the explicit decision of allowing Itadori to live. So I really like how we're looping back to that decision made in like episode 2, chapter 2, where they hedged their bets on Itadori being able to help more people than hurting with this demon inside of him. And I mean, that's also eating away at Itadori. He is so sad in this stretch of chapters. It's definitely not the sort of happy-go-lucky protagonist we had in the beginning of the story.
Definitely not. A lot of death and destruction has happened. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
And with Gojo gone, the Zenin clan is finally making their moves for power, and some of them are vying for the top position. We got this pretty boy who's an asshole and this ugly guy who is less of an asshole. But the point is, neither of them are going to be the next successor. It's going to be Megumi, which is crazy because...
you just go to the very end of the chapter here.
Oh, I'm already on the next chapter. That's my bad.
You're at the end of 138.
I got my notes concise. I'm sorry. We are on 138.
Yeah, like we get the introduction of like the Zenin family drama, and also Master Naobito Zenin, who I had to like recall.
Yeah, neither me nor Tyler realized that 24 frames a second guy who gets immolated in the end of the Shibuya arc was the head of the Zenin clan. We just did not pick up on that.
So I like went back, tried to do some non-spoiler research, and I was like, oh, that was cool. I like how we have that character introduction there.
Yeah.
And ending right there. Like, we're introduced to somebody who is quite strong.
I feel like that's very Hunter x Hunter. Like, you get introduced to certain members of the Spiders or the Kurapika family, like, at very weird times where they're not the main focus of the story, but they're introduced there.
World building and a flip as soon as we're reading his will, all very concisely together. Very nice.
I like it.
So we talk about if Satoru Gojo has died or mentally incapacitated.
Yeah, those are the stipulations. And he is... I like that second one. It's like, hey, if Satoru Gojo decides to end the world, you guys can start making some moves against him. Because...
Yeah. So we had that Satoru Gojo and Toji go into a written agreement that would welcome Megumi Fushiguro into the Zenin clan.
Right, so Toji being Fushiguro's cool-ass dad, that Tyler's favorite character.
This is where I started to get confused. Like, are they Fushiguro or are they Zenin? Like, are there Japanese family politics I'm not understanding? Like,
as we recall, I think Toji's wife was Zenin, and something happened to her, and Toji just sold Fushiguro away to the Zenin clan.
And then there was also a sister that he just didn't say anything about.
Yeah, but to be taken care of by Gojo, we should really go back. It's like right after the anime ends, I think is... No, it's right after the flashback arc with Gojo and Geto that we kind of see that scene play out. Now that we have more context, I should definitely reread that at some point. Maybe right after we're done talking here.
Then we have our blood brothers.
But actually now we find out.
Yeah.
But I think that's next chapter where they properly explained. This is no Itadori mind magic, like theories were that I read were. So I guess a lot of people were surprised by this outcome because I don't see how anyone could
So
guess it.
here's the question. Right here at the beginning of 139, is Itadori using Boogie Woogie?
He's clapping to just get the attention of curses.
Okay. I was like, they're really emphasizing that clap right there. And it
Maybe
looks
it's inherited will. You know, my brother,
Maybe.
my other brother can't clap no more, so I'll clap for him.
Okay, here's the thing though. We learned that there are like 10 brothers in that family.
Yeah, we only know three. I mean, I guess four of them.
It's Toto, right? He very could definitely
Be
be
one
a
of
brother.
the brothers.
He could be a brother.
Would Chozo not have realized that? Because Chozo, I think, met Toto.
Chozo and Toto did not meet.
You're right. I think one fight ends, and then Toto shows up, and then Toto is gone by then. Maybe.
I like we're seeing a lot of cursed spirit fights here. They're just cleaning up the mess.
I like
He's
seeing
now
them work together, and there's something throughout this little stretch of chapters where Itadori genuinely Chozo grows on Itadori for real, and I was like, oh, this is emotional investment that I was not expecting in this story.
Yeah.
Well, Chozo kind of becoming a stealthy, great character for me. I like him a lot.
But in the middle of this fighting, we get just the Zenin boys showing up, and
Yes.
both of them are like surprised by him. And then Yuta shows up as well in the middle of this fight.
Before Yuta shows up, we get into a classic Jujutsu Kaisen, two dudes jumping one dude street brawl that most fights devolve into. I saw a tweet call it the true shonen jump, and I was like, yeah, that's good.
I get that now. Oh, that's funny.
And now we have, so this was kind of weird because it's like, oh wait, we like both of these characters that are going to fight now, which is Itadori and Yuta, both like the class, like they have it in they both have a relationship with the same group of classmates, but they have no relationship with each other. So it was upsetting to see my boys fight because at one point or another they were both like protagonists for a stretch of the story.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, something might happen. But I like how he just jumps off of a building and lands on a rail just to completely destroy it and still not land real. Like, he's doing some psychopath shit here.
It's I'm guessing that's Rika landing next to him and is heavy enough to just crash through. Something like that.
Yeah.
But he's like a physical freak, as we find out in this fight. Chozo fights Zenin Boy, which is a scary fight. And I believe Zenin Boy also uses 24 frames per second.
He does, and that's what made me realize, I go, oh, is now Obito like the head of the Zenin clan? Because we got both of those same skills there.
Lots of fighting happens here. The point that they try to get across is that Yuta is just bursting with cursed energy. So much so that you can't like tell from subtle fluctuations of his cursed energy where he's going to attack next. That's very like Nen mechanics here as well. And I think Nen mechanics are great, so I think this is great too. Just rip off.
Do you like the part where Itadori throws a car at Yuta?
Yeah, Itadori is a fucking freak, but now we have an answer.
More than Itadori just raw strength shit. He's out here chucking cars.
Yeah, I mean, he's done feats like that before where I'm like, oh, you're just not human.
Yuta throws the car right back at him.
People, you know, they some of them don't have, like, before Itadori had cursed energy, he was knocking around curses, and I remember watching the first episode, maybe even with you, and I was like, it's kind of weird that he could just chuck the curses around, but, no, that's part of the character. This guy is a freak. We do see in the start that, like, he shot put balls, like, further than world records, so yeah, he's just kind of quirky like that.
He's just kind of quirky, though.
They have this cool fight through the cars. Itadori's wielding knives, which is cool.
What? Talking in hindsight, and we're learning that Chozo's actually a cursed... Is Chozo a cursed spirit, or is he a cursed spirit user or something?
He's born from a cursed spirit.
It leads to think that maybe that's why Itadori is more special.
No, that is the answer. They haven't explicitly said it, but that's
We'll get there,
conclusion.
hopefully.
Not much to say though about this fight from me. I do like the end with Rika grabbing Itadori and him seemingly
That's actually
dying.
the next chapter.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
we get more fighting, more fighting. These fights are so long. They like one of these fights lasts like 2 or 3 chapters. But I will say, we're getting drip marketing of Maki in these fights because
yes,
they like as soon as the Zenin clan drama started, they're like, "Oh, how's that weird girl Maki?" And then they're like, "Oh, he fights like Maki," you know.
bro. Maki.
And then
Whew,
we'll get there. We'll get to her.
we'll get to
But
her, but needless to say, she is the highlight of these chapters, and we haven't even gotten to her yet.
yeah, we get to the sword break,
What?
and then Rika just like grabs Itadori in a headlock.
Yeah, and then 142 is Rika subduing Itadori. Chozo almost beating Naoya Zenin, fueled by the fact that Naoya hates his brothers, and then he drops this cool line, this great speech that really started making me endear to Chozo's character about
He's
little
the oldest
brothers
of 10
learning from older
siblings.
brothers, and I thought that was really cute. He's like, maybe you didn't have anyone to look up to, or maybe you don't appreciate who you had to look up to. I really like that. He's very much a family man, this Chozo guy. So when he dies tragically, which is like almost guaranteed to happen because the story is kind of torturous, I'm going to be
Whenever
very
he
upset.
dies, I'm gonna do the sad Family Guy noise where it's like.
Why? Why would you do this?
Because he's a Family Guy.
Oh, fuck off. Your joke makes a lot more sense now. I like it. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have from 142. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
Because in 143, we get that the fight was a staging from Utah, and we get this insane bombshell drop that Norish Tamo Kamo was Itadori's mom or something like that. What the fuck?
Yeah. Um.
Let's let that sink in for a second. Like, I don't even know. Like, Itadori's dad put his dick in Crazy, and Crazy was a 100,000-year-old brain jumping curse user. And in their womb, they birthed 11 curses, I guess. And Chozo and the other triplets were some of them, and Itadori was one of them. Was that?
Don't know yet. I'm gonna get to whenever we get that reveal. I'm gonna need to read it twice and then watch a YouTube video of somebody else smarter than me explaining it. Who cares more?
I think this is the soft reveal. I don't know if maybe they'll go into depth later, but I think this is what we're supposed to draw from. I also like seeing Itadori's grandpa again because he was only there very
I
briefly.
like how Yuta is, still on Gojo's side here.
Yes, he is very loyal to the G-Man. So we kind of become like a story about Gojo and his crew versus the world, and people kind of have like to skirt around the fact that they're allied to Gojo, because now that he's trapped, everyone's turning on him. Like, he was the top guy as soon as he's trapped, everyone's trying to make moves that they couldn't do while he was alive. That's just
Yeah.
the level of influence that guy had.
But then we got the Shadow Boy showing back up.
Yeah.
Which is weird because how did he find them?
He probably talked to Nato or Yuta beforehand because they're secretly working together.
Yeah, I guess.
But I really like how Fushiguro gives Itadori like another reason to live now that he's kind of at his lowest point. And that reason is to protect more people. It's really just back to the original point. Fushiguro's sister is being forcibly entered into this killing game that's about to happen to call out all of these Jujutsu users. So this gives like Itadori, it's a fun way in a very narrative rich way to bring him back to his original motivation. But now he's also personally helping a friend. So I think that works really well. That hits for me.
Man, I had to like reread the Culling game rules because I was just really tired.
They go over it way more clearly right before it starts. Where?
The calling game is pretty cool concept.
Oh,
I like
I'm so hyped.
it feels gimmicky, but also like it's just something to take us into the next arc.
I mean, I think gimmicky arcs are great. I think that like it's a tournament arc by another name, and
Yeah.
you can't always just be like, "Hey, we have the demon tournament for the fate of the universe." You got to get creative making a secret tournament arc in these shonens.
In tournament arc. Um, but then we just have more exposition about Fushiguro, Yuta, Itadori talking.
Yeah, we get to
Um,
Maki and that woman that I need to go reread why this woman's important because she keeps showing up and it's just never landing.
Before we get there, we have to talk about Tengen. And they need to
Uh,
like find Tengen, and they
I
have this
mean,
little.
they're going to talk to Tengen, so we'll get there in a couple chapters.
I
But
mean, that's like where they start talking about it right now is in 144.
notably, somewhere in the tomb is a warehouse where the remains of Chozo's other siblings are. So that's going to be a plot thread that's going to culminate into something. We don't really know what. But Itadori calls Chozo Big Brother, and that makes me feel good, and I didn't think it would.
Yeah. Okay, but he asked what happens to Kugisaki, and we don't really
Yes.
get.
We do not get an answer. He just
We do
says,
not.
"Ah, I see," and it's like, she's not dead. There's no way.
I mean, Angle Boy died.
Uh, what's her name? It's not Maki. Otome? No, how can I? Obara is not dead because it fits her character perfectly to have to live on life while looking ugly because she's so vain. I think that
But,
is a perfect progression for that character.
We get the hardcore Maki showing up, the only person to survive the Jogo encounter.
Yes, and she's looking rough, my poor girl.
Dude, she is wrecked.
This artist hates women, but as a result, he writes women better than any other shonen. So
He does.
such is life.
We get Ita, the third member of the old school Gojo crew, who helped create the Jaegerist.
God, yeah, I guess no, dude, that is a bad equivalency because the Jaegerists are scumbags and these are good guys.
Well, no, I'm talking about the guy who wants to kill all of humanity off and to
Is
make
Ghetto?
everybody a curse. Yeah, like Ghetto was about to do that.
Yeah, but this guy doesn't have anything to do with that. The sword guy.
No. I was calling old Ghetto a Jaegerist.
Oh, well, that is correct. Anyways, we meet Tengen and he looks freaky. He looks like a thumb alien.
Dude, he does look super weird. He's a thumb alien, but like we also get this lead up. Like there's still bloodstains here. Like nobody's been here.
Yeah, since the events of the failed Sukuna or the Star Vessel transfer, and like okay, so the plot is they weren't able to transfer a Star Vessel. They lied to the reader where they're like, "Oh, it'll be fine. We found another way." No, it wasn't fine. He did evolve, which was what they were afraid of. Like they reset him so he doesn't evolve to the point of consciousness and become more cursed than like man thing. It's hard to call him a man because he's more like a being that exists to hold back, like to
Like a
put certain
spirit of
barriers.
nature.
Yeah.
So I had to reread this a few times, and each one of these names that Tengen calls them as they're showing up: Child of the Zenin, which is Fushiguro;
Yeah.
Michizane's descendant, which is
Who to say that to?
Yuta.
Okay. I don't know if we have context for that.
Death Painting Womb is Chozo.
But okay, right, yes, but also it would be Itadori, I guess, because they're both death painting wounds.
No, Itadori is Sakuna's vessel.
No, I know, but I think that's the name. I think they're both death painting wombs because that's the name they call for the people who are born in ghettos' wombs or whatever.
Yeah.
But yes,
Whatever.
like more importantly, this is like Sukuna's vessel is the title that is beyond that because that is a bigger deal.
Oh, I forgot Maki's with him, so she might be one of those as well.
He doesn't address fucking the
Ita.
lady who we don't really know. She's like, I'm afraid to wiki this lady because she shows up briefly early and she's not important. Then shows up in the ghetto flashback like, "Yo, dude, let's talk philosophy. What would happen if we killed all the humans?" And then she shows up now, she's really important. So I feel like I just have not kept track of her in my mind, which is, I guess, my bad. But also, she's not been important for stretches of time. But anywho,
You notice how we have, like, on each one of our characters, we have a lot of, like, dark colors on them. Like, everybody has really light skin, like drawn in.
mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of detail on their skin, most of them, except Maki does now.
Yeah.
But, like, everybody, like, has dark colors on them. And then we see Tengen, and he has, like, no black on him
Yeah, he's
at all.
pure white. I guess, like, well, and then, I mean, it's interesting to bring that up, right? Because then Yuta, out of, like, our 4 guys here, and Maki, he is also in all white. So, like,
No,
I wonder...
He's got dark hair and dark pants.
Sure, yeah, okay. But I wonder if there's something to it where, like, I don't know. I don't know,
But
like, maybe...
we learned the third name of Kamo, which is Kinjaku.
Yeah, the method of evolution that Kenjaku had, like, why did they start calling him that?
That's what Tengen calls him. I have a theory that actually a moon spirit. That's
What?
like the wife of Sakuna. Yeah, no, I'm just spitting Naruto shit here.
Oh, okay.
Where it's actually the bad guy is the different bad guy who's being used by the other bad guy.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I believe it's some stupid shit like that.
I hope they pull it off well, and that our stummies can keep up with it without having to reread too much. But I do like how it's all coming together now, once we get around 146, where he stopped the Star Vessel from making it to the end so that Tengen would evolve into a curse, and then he can manipulate that curse, he here being Kenjaku. So, like, his plot in that flashback is coming around in a very interesting way, where, like, oh, this is his ultimate plan that it's been in place since the beginning of the story. It's
He's
since
gonna
hundreds of
merge
years ago.
humankind with Tengen? And they're like, wait, do you mean like a human with you or all the humans with you?
And I think the implication is, like, if Tengen is manipulated by Geto, so much cursed energy is going to flow into the world that, like, humans won't have, like, a filter for it. They're all just going to get cursed, I guess.
We missed the part where Itadori just straight up asked Tengen why he looks like a thumb monster from Spy Kids.
He does not say that.
He does. He goes, Master Tengen, why do you look like that?
What page?
145, page 2.
Yeah, he do be asking the important questions.
In the middle of the important discussion, and just like, yo, why you look fucking ugly?
And Tengen's just like, yeah, I'm old. I'm like, yeah, that's it. For real? I'm glad Itadori's back.
All right, what do we want to call Kamo now? Ghetto Kamo, Kenjaku? We'll just go by Kenjaku.
I think they're calling him Kenjaku more often now, so I'm gonna try to keep it with that.
So, like, my theory is with this game, he needs to get to Tengen. And Tengen only had his barrier around Japan. Now that barrier's gone, the cursed spirits are running free.
But I think they're still only in Japan for now.
Yeah. So maybe once we get Kenjaku and Tengen together, he puts a barrier around the whole world or something, and that's how he combines Tengen with humanity?
Could be. I'll keep that in mind as by the time it happens, we're gonna be so mind-fucked because Gage just kind of, like, moves the plot along. It's like, if you're not keeping up, eat dirt. I'm moving on.
And then we get to Toji. Like, Toji intervened, and we have this new concept introduced, this new mechanic called, he was physically gifted through heavenly restriction, which heavenly restriction is the new power that we're introduced to.
I think that's been brought up before. Because Maki has heavenly restriction, I'm pretty sure.
He escaped fate through the power of restriction, which, like, is, like, opposites.
He destroyed our destinies. So, I guess, hold on, recontextualizing it, why Toji was just paid by a religious cult to stop the Star Vessel.
Yeah.
So it's not like Toji masterminded this as well. I think he was just being used. I was about to attribute like
What if the
Ma-
cult is actually important?
I think that cult is important thinking about it. Man, this just makes me want to reread those arcs. That's what you should do, Tyler, while you wait for me to catch up. Just reread Jujutsu. Reread it like 7 times.
So,
On
we
that
get
note,
to this.
I do really appreciate how much more context is added to the story as we like get further along.
Yeah, I like how we talk about they bring up point six again out of the Colon game, excluding the point value of a player's own life. You get points. So there's three ways to get points. You can get points by killing other curse users, killing curses, or killing literally anybody you want.
Yeah, and the those points would be negotiated with the game master. This is very The World Ends With You, which I know you haven't played, but this is like a darker version of some of the stuff that could happen in those games.
Yeah.
Man, the next chapter I think they'll go in, but the main point here is that there's this character called Angel, and or Hana Kurusu, and the point that they need to get to is that they need to convince Kurusu to extinguish any curse, aka free Gojo. So this is really interesting because we're hedging the fate of humanity and the story on a character, and we don't know the alliance of that character. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the characters manipulate, force, or try to strike a deal with Hana Kurusu.
Yeah, and we also get introduced to the back door of the prison realm. Like,
I don't know what to
Tengen
make of
just
that.
pulls that out of midair, literally.
Yeah, sure. Whatever,
So
man.
the inverted spear of heaven is also something that nullifies curse techniques.
Yes, but that was used by Toji in his fight with Gojo.
Yes.
Black rope, I don't know if we've seen or if it's on. Apparently, Gojo destroyed all the black rope for some reason.
He was tired of that shit being countered against him.
And I like how this explains what Yuta was doing. He was in Africa looking for more black rope.
Yeah.
Something like
And
that.
so we get into 146. I know you were at the end of it already, but we talk about like all these colonies around Japan that are being set up.
The way it works, I think, is at any colony, you can get teleported to you can get teleported to the starting point of the cooling game. Is that? I think that's what this map is trying to say, and it'll make more sense when we do it. But the way I'm reading the map is like enter a colony, the cooling game starts. You're gonna zip to the top of Japan, and then from there, like once you go into the edge of a colony, you get teleported to the next one during the cooling game. So this way, people can like move around and be in different territories during the cooling game. You're just teleporting from battle zone to battle zone. Is that
Okay.
the sense you got? Because that's how I understood this.
I don't fucking understand this still. I've read it 3 times.
Cool. All right. We'll see how it goes.
They're connected by a barriers that form a line that sends humans in Japan to the other side. So we have an alternate dimension that they get teleported to. I think the most confusing thing for me
Is that side
just-
map of like the revert?
like obviously they're getting sent to an alternate dimension of Japan.
Yeah.
But I think just artistically the graphic and the like where we see the map and we have this like little rope thing that zooms out.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. I just think it's drawn weird.
Are you talking like I'm guessing you're talking about 146 page 3, like the top of it.
Yeah,
The way I
page 2
see it is like that little top part that's like 3D. You put those two together and it shows Japan and then Japan inverted. No,
Oh.
it's not inverted.
No,
I think it's just if you place them side by side, they're parallel. That's what it would be. You just go into the parallel world. I don't know, man. It'll make sense when we get there, I'm sure.
So I like in the middle of this exposition, we're having everything explained. Tengen's talking. They're talking about the Cohen game, and then we get this like half flashback of this person talking about curse technique removal, and it's between two characters we have not met.
No, one of them is the guy who drove Itadori around during the beginning, who I think nearly died in the Shibuya incident. I'm not 100% sure if he was confirmed dead. He was like the other older guy who worked with him. I forget his name, but I was upset when he got stabbed in the Shibuya incident. I don't remember like dark looking chick here.
Yeah, and then they get Shikigami, so they all got death notes.
This has very strong, like, I don't know. This would be some Hunter x Hunter like Nen creature bullshit that someone's ability in Greed Island. Like, we're going to Greed Island is what I'm trying to get to. In other
Yeah,
words,
definitely going to Great Island.
it's gonna be dope.
And then Yuki and Chozo stay behind to guard, and that's kind of it. And Maki goes to the Zenin clan to collect some cursed tools, and she is going to fuck some shit up.
But before that, we get introduced to a comedian for the Calling game.
This guy.
Not much to say about him. I don't really feel any particular way, but I think it's a very interesting introduction to a character where, and I wonder, like, he talks about comics who are funny and comics who aren't, or who think are funny, and how there's a room for both. And maybe this is going to play into this character's story arc in the Calling game, where, like, I think it's going to evolve into, like, there's a killers, and then there's people who are avoiding to be killed, or who are avoiding the killing, and, like, both are necessary for this game, and which one are you going to be? That's my prediction.
Yeah. I mean, he's a part of the Calling game, and I think he's a guy who thinks he's funny, and I'm really hoping that's what he ends up being.
I think his story is going to be very dark and not funny at all. We get to 147, which is the Principal Yaga little interlude here. He's still a pretty mysterious figure. He says goodbye to all his, like, little puppet dudes. You watched The Boys Season 3, right?
Yeah, so please don't spoilies.
Okay, you should watch that. Anywho, God, I'm trying to make sense of what happens here. I think...
So, I got you, homie, because I read this a few times.
Here's my take, right?
We open up on a flashback.
Yes.
Between the old dude...
the other principal of the rival school and Principal Yaga.
Yeah. So Yaga turns out he's capable of making self-aware puppets.
We've known this since the start.
Yeah, but
we learn here that it's, like, controversial, that, like, the Jujutsu Society is kind of iffy and they want to know how he can do it.
No, we see the puppets he makes at the beginning that fight Itadori, and they're just kind of, like, simple. No, he makes full-on, like...
No, homunculi. But here's the thing. We've known that about Panda since his introductory fight.
Did Yaga make Panda, and we knew that?
Yeah, Panda's his... Yes, for sure.
I thought we learned that in this chapter.
Nah.
You sure?
Yeah, it happens in, when Panda... You know when Panda transforms into, like, Beast Panda?
Yeah.
Panda's like, I have 3 forms, like Chopper, and we learn why. Because to create a homunculi, basically, he has to take 3 compatible souls. Those souls then observe each other, and the process of observing each other creates intelligence and real cursed energy. And I'm like, oh, that is such a neat little concept for how he can do this. And it appears that, like, Sword Guy has a sister. That sister lost her son, and he was able to create something with her son's personality. And now that same person is hunting him down because he's a wanted man, which is a cruel twist of fate. But that person looks completely different now, right? Like,
no, these are 2 completely different people.
Then why? Why would Gage do this to me?
Who?
The author.
This is a guy hired by the other principal. This is someone from the other school. Like, these are 2 people from the other school. It's the principal and another guy.
Okay, I thought it was the same person they were turning on him, but...
Okay,
no. So, to see my son, as in to see Panda, of course.
Yeah.
And then Guitar Guy shows up and beats his ass.
Yeah, and one of his students, because he calls him principal there at the end. But yeah, he turns out Panda's already been saved by someone he helped in the past, which was the sword guy.
Yes. Right. I mean, I guess that flashback in the start is to explain why Sword Guy had to save Panda. It's, like, squeezed in there so that there's a reason. Also, the guy who says principal, he's talking about the older person. Remember when you spoiled this for me, by the way?
No.
Yeah, you straight up spoiled that Yuga was no longer principal and that the old guy was principal.
Oh,
Yeah, that was fun.
like, dude, I gotta spoil that too, man. I didn't know what I was.
I'm just saying, Wikipedia is a fun place, isn't it?
Dude, no, it's fucking spoiler ridden.
Yeah, don't look at that shit.
Jujutsu Kaisen fans don't give a fuck.
No, I feel like wikis should have like a early story, like you know how they have like character deceased or alive and stuff like that. They should have
like,
early story, mid story, late story, and you can click on a tab or something. I don't know.
No, it's like the Worm wiki, where you read in the synopsis of the character that they turned into a Super Saiyan god and devoured half the world, and then they died but came back in the form of like Kite.
And
like
you,
they just
and you read that's all condensed in one sentence. That is the first thing you read. So,
yeah.
I like how when he tells the other principal about the creation method, he calls it's a curse principle, Gaku Ganjin, a curse from me to you. So like this knowledge is a curse. Why is that? Like, I think that's an interesting way to go out.
He's creating stuff, you know, that's what they want to know. They want to create more puppets. I think
maybe it's like you don't understand the burden or like the real ethical implications of what I do.
Yeah.
And now that you have this knowledge, you are going to be cursed once you start dabbling in that. Like, we don't fully know how he gets the 3 souls he needs. And maybe there's some dark shit to that. Let me actually reread this.
Cursed knowledge, man.
You replicate soul information from physical information, then input that information to the cursed corpse. But that isn't enough. You must put cores housing 3 highly compatible souls into one cursed corpse, and then have the souls constantly observe each other. So maybe like, I'm assuming we will get a little more on his research later on in the story, and be like, yeah, before I could get successful homunculi and puppets, I got some really fucked up cases of people with just completely broken personalities because they weren't compatible. Yeah. I feel like that's like the angle that they're gonna go with, and then Panda just spends some time with his father.
Pandas cry.
I wonder why it shows like wasps and moths getting drawn to a flame and dying. Maybe like that pursuit of knowledge to like create this technology or like this method of creating puppets is what eventually led to his death, and that's what's symbolizing here on the last page, which is a cool metaphor. Then I like that.
Yeah.
And on to the last stretch, 148, 149. I can't believe so much happens in 2 chapters. But this is Maki returning. Naoya is just a complete dick. He talks about how he used to bully Maki and can return to do so again. He's like, the only good thing about you was your pretty face, so you got nothing left. So I hate this guy. He is the new most hated man after Mahito died. Rest in peace to the worst person.
They had to replace it with someone shitty.
Yeah, Maki's mom also shitty.
Oh, dude, like we're just like this lady just looks like a servant or something.
Yeah, that. I was caught off guard by this.
Yeah, and she's like, I like do something like, for once make me glad I gave birth to you. I was like, oh shit, that was her mom.
Yeah, that's when I found out too.
She opens up the gates and then her dad's just sitting there.
And he's like, I'm gonna fight you before you can take any of these cursed objects. And he's mutilated his daughter already.
Yep.
So this dad is the new most hated person, but thankfully not for long.
We just learned that the Zenin are kind of shit.
Yeah, they are awful, and Toji selling Fushiguro to their clan, if I understand that right, is now painted as a much worse situation. Have we met a single good Zenin aside from 24 second frame per second Grandpa? Naobito.
We don't even know if 24 second frame per second Grandpa was good.
Yeah, he probably wasn't, because he was probably a good, confident, like, useful fighter, but when he came home and did family politics, he was probably the worst asshole ever.
Yeah. We get this duel between Maki and her dad.
And her dad slices him with like an invisible blade. That is very badass.
Yeah, like she cuts the blade off, but then he uses his reverse curse, spirit curse.
No, Tyler, energy. Stop. It's simple. He just channels cursed energy into this blade, which creates an energy blade, alright? It's not that bad.
I have a question.
I don't know if I can
148, page 17.
Yes.
The bottom panel
looks like guts.
What is that? Guts, you
Yeah.
say?
Lung?
Like,
Guts? Windpipe?
what is that?
He's heart? He's like hitting her chest with the hilt of the sword, and then organy bits get crushed.
Does he?
Yeah, on the top of the page, he's circling around her and hitting her with the butt of the sword. And then he gets in a cutting stance, and then he slices her eye the next page. Something like that. I don't know. Anywho, on to the last chapter. Good old dad drags both of his daughters into the death chamber where a bunch of curses are going to kill them, and then he just walks away. He's literally just killing his daughters because they have no cursed energy. It is so cartoonishly evil, but that just really goes to show you, like, the politics of this clan and how all they care about is how useful you are for the clan status.
See, one of them does have curse energy, the other one does not. Maki doesn't.
Yeah, which actually, why does he hate his other daughter so much, actually? I guess I missed that.
Because Mai is weak as fuck, so they go on to explain this, actually.
Right.
So that's what's explained this chapter, is whenever twins are born to be curse users, they have both of their skills.
Well, it's such a confusing explanation. It's like, you want to be strong, but you can't because I don't want to be strong. I don't fully understand what I'm supposed to take away here.
So, what happens is curses treat twins as one individual.
Yes.
So, it's like, you get the strength, you get the curse techniques.
So, it's splitting.
A curse user, yes.
But then also, like, I think part of it is also their minds and how they think about, like the mental aspect of curses and that power also, like, interacts with each other. Yeah, so it's like, my personality clashes with yours.
Yeah, because Maki can't see curses because that's why she had those glasses.
Yes. Wait, which actually, how does she find her way out of here without being able to see them?
Because this is why, like, Mai here dies.
Yes.
She sacrifices her soul and gives it to Maki so that Maki can become a full being. This is like heavenly restriction happening.
Okay, I figured it was something. The thing that made me unclear, that's when I initially read that, that's what I thought, right? But then in the page where Maki creates a sword, I can't tell if it's Mai or Maki creating the sword, because that is Mai's power, is to create objects. But they were small objects, so here, I'm assuming what's happening is, Maki now has both powers, like the physical strength and the ability to create objects.
Let's say the sword is Mai, because that's cool.
Well, she calls her Mai, or like, oh, wake up, Mai. And then I think she says, Mai, let's get this started at the end as she holds the sword. So that's why I got confused. It's like, I think Mai put all of her energy into creating one last weapon, and that also must have unlocked Maki's ability to see curses and use cursed energy, but we don't really have that explicitly shown, because the way that Maki defeats her dad is
herself, and all the energy goes into Maki. That's what I take it as.
Yeah, but I don't know if she now has powers as well, because the way she finishes off her dad is with a normal sword strike.
I think that she can see spirits now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only explanation.
Yeah. But I like the dad getting, like, these weird, like, the big cat eyes.
Yeah, he's like, the last time I felt like this was when
Toji. Like, we get this stark contrast between Maki and Toji.
The implication here is that while Toji's dead, Maki's the next one. She's next up.
What?
She's the next Toji. Like, she's the next horrifying freak of nature physical fighter.
Yep, and then she slices her dad's head off. She scalps him.
Fuck this guy. She doesn't even flinch at it, because, like, after what he did, you gotta kill him. And I wonder if we start reading next chapter, she kills her mom too at this point. She probably doesn't, but...
See, I thought we were reading 20 chapters, so I actually have read the next 3 chapters.
You're a motherfucker, Tyler. You literally... No, that's bullshit, because you told me to stop at 149.
No, I said I was on 149.
No! I have fucking evidence! Oh my god, you're such a cunt.
I've only read the end of this fight. I've only into the read to the end of Maki stuff.
Oh my god. You literally read to 149 and you're like, I have enough to talk about. I was like, okay, sure.
I mean, I said I do have enough to talk about. I never said I was going to stop reading. But the next few chapters get really good. You should click and like look at the cover page for the next chapter, 150.
Alright, we'll do it live.
Yeah, do it live because it's just a color spread.
Nice. She looks raw. She's raw as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you see the sisters together.
Yeah, but we also get that like colored scalping of her dad.
Yeah, well, that is what it is.
Yeah. Next few chapters, great. You're gonna love them.
Well, where should I stop now so you can read ahead of the stopping point? And
We'll go to 165.
sure. So you'll be at 170. Sounds good. Well, that wraps up what I've read based on my heavenly restriction. So
All right, now let me get into it. Solo talk.
all right, I'll catch y'all later as Tyler goes on a solo book club. Anyways, I really like the section. I like the world building we did to it. The setup for the culling game is hype. That is my biggest takeaway. I think this is going to be
I like how
a
we didn't
phenomenal
kill
arc.
all the women.
Yeah, I mean, they're out here killing people. We just killed one woman, and maybe two, because Obata might be dead, but probably not.
Yeah.
But we are going to mutilate every woman. That is Gage's promise to you as a reader.
Yep.
And also, like, Maki is rising up the stocks. Like, she's becoming a phenomenal character, and I think she's going to be a big part of this arc. She's going to kick a lot of ass, hopefully, and hopefully survive. Those are my main takeaways.
Yeah. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone. We'll catch y'all soon.